Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. As you see, ELISE clear a vision that was placed in her jungle at 1 minute 24, so we know that the enemy Evelyn will know where we're starting. We're going to investigate, it's not really much of a secret, but show you how every Korean ELISE player effectively figures out how to win games in under 23 minutes. Now, I'm not saying that every game an ELISE plays ends under that time, because that would be clickbait and not true. But every challenger, grandmaster, high elo Korean player knows the strategy to make sure games end that quickly. And of course, a lot of you who play Rek'Sais, Siluses, hopefully not anymore, ELISEs, anything like that, you definitely want to close games quickly. And of course, you would have noticed, hopefully, that the Evelyn was starting on the bottom side. Electrocute rune set for both junglers, the best way to guarantee damage on an early gank for the kill threat. We have Cassante versus Renekton Crocodile, and Justana mid, really good in the right hands and in the right matchups and with people who understand, well, Tristana and range. But I'm sure most of your games are used to it pushing, dying to ganks, or all-inning and dying to a turret shot, so we can ignore that safely. Although I will suggest, if you're against, or in an elo at least, where the jungler might look to gank this, you can always shadow and counter gank appropriately. We now have our affiliates going all in with Lulu in the bot side. We know that this is going to happen every single game. So what are the enemy junglers like the Evelyns and so on doing to mitigate those ELISE's leads? And if they are able to... he gets a kill. And if they are able to position in a way to counter the ELISE, how are ELISEs still able so frequently to pop off at in-games early? A lot of it is to do with kit. A lot of it is also to do with the inability for most junglers to understand not to play the ELISE's game. The Evelyn here is now sequenced down to try and get tempo advantage over the ELISE. She is able to flash and get a kill onto the Lulu. ELISE will be able to flash and get the repel proc, which of course amplifies her passive damage for 4 or 5 seconds. That's something not a lot of people realize. 40% for 5 seconds. That scales up to 100% of your passive spider form getting juiced up. So good to know. The Tristana is able to actually kill a Jace. And a lot of times these games actually frustrate mid and low MMR ELISEs, because it's like, well, if I do a 3 camper and gank a lane that's gankable, I know what to do. If I do a 3 camp and gank the mid lane, when it's gankable, I know what to do. But in the case of, you know, yeah, so, if anyone was shocked by this, please don't be. Justana mid laners will always do this. We take our red, we kite on down, we try and help, we cut. So, when games are basically in this kind of situation, in this kind of meta where we are still rewarded for camp experience and gold, the Evelyn's better option was simply to farm, make sure she did this, maybe did something about top lane instead. The ELISE basically doesn't do a very normal clear, does she? She essentially goes red Krugs Raptors into the bottom lane. Why? Because in this new meta, and this is what they're doing very well, you want to be able to fall back to your camps if the ganks aren't available, and ELISE is still okay, pretty solid at farming and clearing experience in camps early. By doing this, instead of going your classical buff Grump, which is terrible, or red Raptors Grump, and basically leaving herself up for Krugs counter jungling, Raptors counter jungling, she knows that she can do this, gank mid lane, or cut through and gank bot lane and have camps to fall back to, giving her golden experience. The enemy junglers will now not have the option to counter jungle until that 4 minute 23 marker. It really throws off their general tempo. It really throws off their general approach. You see? And of course, at this point in the season, most bottom lanes are aware of the ganks that are coming, so they ward. The Evelyn, in the meantime, 99% now will go to the top side, steal this, ward this, and the deep vision here by the Crocodile means that ELISE knows, look, Evelyn can go here, Evelyn can go here, she can go here, I don't care. Because I still have these camps up, I have Alternator. Blasting one is probably better, but at the same time, they changed the build path for Night Harvester, so that's very sad. I did prefer having Blasting 1 as an itemization spike, and if you go Rocket Belt on ELISE, you can go Blasting 1 for your itemization spike, but Night Harvester gamers know that the Alternator gives us a bit of the damage, and which is why Dark Harvest is fine, because we'll have Dark Harvest plus the Alternator, plus the ability to actually double down on the damage and the scaling component out of base straight to the bottom lane. So what are we learning from this in terms of formulas, right? Like, what's the formula for Rek'Sais, for ELISEs, for even Warwicks? If you can red side quadrant, and I coach this, right? You would have seen the intro pre-roll. Coaching and coursing courses, I talk all about the versatility of first clears on any jungler. But I have a long-term warrior coachee, who we basically do red, Krugs, Raptors, cut through gank bottom lane, because now we can go top side and have our blue side all up for us, because enemy junglers like Kayn, Fiddles, and anything else is sequencing down anyway. So we have tempo advantage for the gank, and then we can now swap and control our camps. The Evelynn, the Elise, is doing the same damn thing here. Controlling her camps, swapping down bottom lane, getting this control, forces the Evelynn to rotate, and now reset and come straight back down, take an early objective, and fall back. The Evelynn is now on her Krugs. She does a good job killing the Tristana and getting some kills, but she's not in river control. So the clears, in terms of red quadrant action, whether you're starting here and going down, whether you're starting here and going here, the idea is that we have another side of the map to fall back to, and we alleviate any potential counter jungling of these second rotation camps by kind of forcing enemy junglers to follow our game plan a little bit. And it always works. Always. The question is, can I use the lead to close the game out? Which is, of course, what Evelynn's, Elise's, Karthus's, Amumu's, Rek'Sai's, Warwick's, all junglers have in common. We need to know how to close games when we have a lead, whether we're early or scaling. Evelynn now decides, hey, you know what, I'm going to do my red side quadrant and lane gank this. How close is she to level 6? Only half of the way there, so this is a very ambitious gank, which gives the Elise control now over some counter jungling. This is obviously tracked here. Well, should be tracked by the Evelynn because we know that the Elise went to the bottom side again, so she should know that the Elise is going top side. Tristana goes all in here. The Jace jumps forward knowing that it's a potential dive from the Elise. Will it matter? Human form. Speed up. Cocoon misses, and it does. Good job. Well done. Good job, Jace. We clap for his spider sense because, yeah, I think most of your Jaces would have died to that, right? I feel you. But you are Evelynn, right? So you can always shadow the scenario. Maybe if you've gotten your 6, you're able to get a cleanup on the ultimate. Here in this case, she has not, obviously. We know that because we saw bot side. Elise, I keep confusing the names. They both begin with E. I don't know why. What is wrong with me? Regardless, the E-based Spider Queen, known as Elise, tries to dive bot lane, doesn't get anything, transitions up to the river, straight to the crocodile. The all-out man is able to avoid things, and we save our repel for that Q into the auto attack. Nicely done. Human Q, as it were. Now, Evelynn will shadow up here, does have level 6, and the Cassante just leave. We have no mana, though, and she's camo, so we can't afford to do the Krugs in the red because she'll just shadow us and potentially kill us. Now, it's a little bit of a coin flip because does the Evelynn go here regardless, or does she go to the mid lane and say, hey, I need to help out my Jace, maybe clean up the Tristana, I know Lulu is there, or do I just go straight for the Herald? Let's find out with the magic button. Straight for the Herald. We saw the ping, so it kind of screws us over a little bit, but, you know, if you don't know if the Elise is gonna... We know she's coming topside for these camps. You know she's gonna want to protect them. Can we fight her when she comes back with atomization? Do we have the prior for it? Cassandra's gonna be there. Yeah, might as well just make sure I get the objective. I like the play. It causes the Elise to forces the Elise to do the red to get 6, and we know we can ding that away. We have here the Tristana still hanging around 1-2-0. Phyllis being shilling in the bot lane. Tristana is now being chased into her own jungle. Look at the damage from, like I just said. Evelynn, I just said, I want to watch that again. I just said, can we fight the Elise given that she would have just spent her itemization? No, therefore I'm going to take the objective, which is a safer play, and then of course I can drive by this and maybe just punch it for the plates. I'm still fed as Evelynn here. I can still get a shit ton of gold. I can still snowball the game and win. This game isn't at all over whatsoever, and instead she goes and face checks to kill an Elise. I almost did it again. Who does a brilliant job waiting for the ultimate to get that repel, to get that flash Q kill. And now, of course, the Rakan shows up, the Jace shows up, the Tristana's like, hey, can I still stay here? But he does no Jinx ult. He's just relaxed. The Zaya's going to be forced to react to it. Now we can go down to the RNG scuttle on the bottom side. You see, look at this. We don't go to our camps. We go to the scuttle. We take the outside in rule. We go and take the plant to get some mana and regeneration and deny potential golden experience to the Evelynn, who we know most likely will shadow down to the bottom side, or at this point, go to the mid lane, I would assume, but she has no ult now. Does have no ult now, so it makes things a little bit more difficult. So the Elise says, look, extended sequence. I'm going to stay out here, cut this. I see the dive as a potential because their fellows got to shove. Evelynn does, as we expect, show up on the bottom side. Elise is like, I'm going to do, oh, nice cocoon. I'm going to do the Krug camp, but react to it as necessary. Our bottom lane is super duper giga lucky. Elise with a little bit of eyes on the Krugs and not on the dive, I think, but that's okay. Because, as I left clicker, we can do that, into this, and of course Evelynn will show up. Yeah, as she does. Oh, no way! No way. Guys, it's an Evelynn. It's an Evelynn. It's an Evelynn. like, we know... Oh, she has ult. Yeah, I guess. Okay. I don't know. I think we all expected the Evelynn to go for it, right? I think it's less, like, from the Evelynn's perspective, is it a good play with Lulu ult? Maybe not, unless you're super fed and you have ult. But from our perspective, as an ELISE Lulu, we're like, you're probably going to show up, right? And if the Lulu goes base, and we are a little bit off for the base, and it's warded, or if we're not sure what's going on, then we could die. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. I admit that could have gone two directions. Cassante dies 1v1. We obviously now have used the Herald already, so... Sorry, we don't even have the Herald. The Evelynn has the Herald, and of course now we're going to have a straight 2v2 trade. And this is the importance of shadowing the bot lane here so much, because it allows them just to have raw damage, right? And I think a lot of junglers who are curious, as Evelynn does use the Herald on the mid lane here, they're curious about how do I get my bottom lane to do this? And look, I'll put it to you again in the most raw, truthful form ever. If your bot lane's into every game, every single game, you're the common factor. It's you. What are you doing to support them? When you do gank them, what are you doing afterwards? Do you come back again? You position them that you can never use the Herald. You position it such that you can never just give them free cash money gold. Like the Xayah, the Rakan, these rotations that are forced because of us as well, allow our bottom lane time to ding these plates, to relax. Multiple times we've come in here, cut through, and been there for trades. The Aphelios and Lulu live because we show up, get cocoons, and get kills. We get dragons, which gives them free stats. We are consistently shadowing and in the area to help. So even if they don't necessarily get direct ganks and kills, we are always there to thwart the enemy jungler's ganks, to take things away, to give free stats, to give them as many cash money gold value as possible. Because when they have that in bad elos, right, where they're just going to 2v2 no matter what, if I make sure that they have the gold lead, they usually should win, right? We just basically said, look, it's straight up about gold. The Evelynn chose top lane, she's 4-2-1, she's doing a solid job. But ELISE's in Korea are cutthroat. They are living, as you see, outside, into their jungle, into the dives, into the rivers. And now they're strong enough with Electrocute, and obviously with the itemization she has, which is still limited, to get a lot of kills. We hit that Cocoon, which gives us a Spiderling, which gives us the... Well, we saved the Repel. Obviously the Repel gives us the bonus stats as well, but again, didn't need it. Could have done that with one hand tied behind our back. Now, let's go get Night Harvester. There we go, nice stacks. Aphelios rotates and takes our Krugs. We say that's unlucky, but that's fine, because then I can do my Raptors and move into the river. The second Herald will be a factor in terms of closing games out. And now the idea is, can I help my bottom lane, shadow my bot lane, such that they can hit that first turret and then move around the map? We're going to have the Gale Force in, Aphelios super gaming. We'll just shadow now. Shadow now. There's the Xayah ultimate. That's all Evelynn can do. Renekton's on the top side there. That's all Evelynn can do. I mean, the Jace does die. He's not exactly having the best game. Renekton Croc goes in on the Tristana, who jumps away, creates range advantage. But he's Renekton. And now look at this. Straight in, take the stuff. Straight in, take the stuff. We know the Evelynn's going to be shadowing and being somewhere else. But is she going to be able to do anything about it? Because we're always present. Play these away. As you can see, our solo laners are not exactly popping off. So it doesn't really matter because we're fed. We're shadowing the only two people that matter. And now people are saying, it's just coin flipping bottom lane. Coin flipping bottom lane. We didn't even gank bottom lane that much. The biggest proponent here was not that we ganked bottom lane. It was that we also ganked this lane. We also tried to gank this lane. We also shut down the Evelynn. It just so happens that it helps us get bottom lane fed more easily. And when that's the case, typically you can pop off. Now we know that there's no ult on the Xayah. Cassante will die. Evelynn hits the Cocoon off the wall. We are 4. We have one here, one here. So again, the game is still pretty close. Like 3k gold lead at 14 minutes is nice, but it's not like the game is straight up won. We do have 2 dragons. Got to get that second Herald. It's pretty big. Evelynn is, of course, the big question mark on the map, so we hit this just to see. Hello, Flash Cocoon, no hesitation. That is the mechanical difference. That's what allows this to happen under 23 minutes. As soon as you have this lead, Night Harvester, Sword Boots, Dark Seal, you have the experience advantage, the gold advantage. This Tristana confuses me a little bit, but once you have that and you see people out of position, there's this Flash Cocoon immediate kills. You're an assassin, play like one. They're just pushing turrets. Cassandra is being pushed into. Now the question, of course, is always, when a mid laner or bottom lane shove this, what happens is the map becomes like this, and they can be collapsed upon quite quickly. So you want to be able to shadow these scenarios once you've gotten this, it's taking quite a while actually. Come on, come on, come on. They leave. But if you're in low elo and they keep pushing here, you want to shadow this so that you can get the cleanup, activate, and probably end. Take all their stuff, shadow again. We don't go back to Raptors, we follow them into the jungle. Take their camps. Obviously now we've got gold, cash money reset we need to get because our side laners are not exactly helping us too much. Everyone's still done a solid job, honestly. But she made a big mistake mid lane. Like this right here was a big mistake. Huge. Not having ultimate for another actual play rather than just face checking an Elise who I just said. If she's in the area, she would have just reset. We can't match up. Especially if she's sitting in a bush trapping us. It would have been better for her to save her ultimate for a better execute. Maybe on the bottom lane actually. Like here, in this scenario, because what happened right afterwards? As Elise goes forward. Woo, it's a little bit close. But as Elise goes forward, right after this here, she cuts in to take this. She comes down here for this, and they will get away super low, and now like the Evelyn doesn't have the thing, and you've got a Lulu and an Elise, low HP here, yes with Lulu ult, but we don't have ult to finish it off, so this wasted ult from the Evelyn is what swings the game in Elise's direction, and Elise takes that, uses it every single time. The champion is definitely weaker, definitely. The meta has definitely shifted, definitely. But can you still play Elise 1v9 Smurf and climb? Yes. If you're playing Elise and you can't get Master Tier because of it, like you're in Diamond, you're trying to do it, not because of Elise. You know what I mean? It's definitely possible. Definitely play properly. And I'm not really a Scorch Claw, Electrocute Night Harvester proprietor. I would definitely suggest more of your, you know, because we're not obviously in Korean Challenger, I would definitely suggest, you know, the Dark Harvest blue pet is probably a better way to play the game, just for map mobility, late game assassinations, ease to move throughout their jungle, like the ease you need to move throughout their jungle with the blue trig, with the blue pad. It's a much better system, right? Okay. Evelyn now is forced again to ult out of the dragon. So great, you got the dragon. Good job, but you lost your ultimate, which is more valuable at this stage. Probably your ultimate. I mean, what's the cooldown at this particular stage? It does get lower as she goes top lane here, 55. It's not too bad, but still. You know what I mean? But still, that's fine though. We'll take it, we activate the Herald. Velis and Lula just popping off. Really, they're playing well, but the Elise and all Koreans Elises are really good, not only at playing around bottom lane, but playing around whoever is the best laner in the game, right? Who is the guy that's going to smurf and help me get these Heralds and shove this down quick, 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 quick? And you're seeing, we're not concerned about this stuff. Look at this. I don't care. I'm in here, all the time, pushing, 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 pushing. Play Elise, play Rek'Sai. This is the way to do it. And I love it because it's high tempo, it's quick. And even though the enemy jungler's got 8 kills and is playing solidly, they just don't have the ability to do what you can do with this champion at this particular stage of the game. Evelyn's great, and she'll definitely be stronger in a few minutes, but we're just not going to let them get to that. That's the end of it. So now here, obviously, they're holding on because again, the game is a big gold lead, but it's not that huge. At least it's still able to kill the Xayah thanks to the Scorch Claw. So joke's on me, I suppose. Go and take damage, always super strong. We have the Q3 from the Cassante here, which is going to keep our distance. He's going to try flash in and get the kill. He cannot. But because of this, we won't be able to end. We have Jace up or Khan up. Don't have a lot of fat waves. We're a little bit low in HP. Cassante says, no, we can end. He says, okay, I'll help. But now we're low HP, low mana. Tristana's not here with us, as is the way. I think the best thing you can do here is pull the plug, because they're going to respawn with gold spent and a huge HP advantage. So let's just shimmy on out. There you go. And in low elo, what happens? You don't shimmy on out. You stay. You die. You cry. And then you swing the other direction as they get bounties, more dragons. Maybe you do this when they have a Baron, and they get a Baron. Now you push into this, and the game goes on 45 minutes, and it's coin flip team fight over Elder Dragon. Does that sound painfully familiar? Especially as Rek'Sai's and Elise's, where you wanted to end at 25, right? Yeah, it totally has not happened to me ever. Nope. Yeah, I've learned painful lessons over the years. I've played a long time. I've watched a lot of VODs. I've seen a lot of things happen. And this restraint to just say, let's pull out, go base, spend gold, take the Baron, and now go for the final all 5-man shove up here. This is the most effective way at ending games. Keep it simple, stupid. As of course, the Evelyn goes and kills the Tristana. Cassante TP, she'll have a passive up. We hit this plant to C. She can just cycle back this way. Velos will call the bluff. Maybe she goes this way now. Let's actually... Where did she go? She did do what I said. Yeah, see, I play Evelyn, so in my mind, I'm I'm anticipating that they're anticipating that I go this way, so she kind of shadowed that one. She could look to try and do more assassination, but she has no ult now. Elise goes to the mid lane. Daya and Rakan out of position. Kazante joining in. See, this is nice as well. You take, you push a little bit, you reset, you take the Baron, now you catch this wave just to shove up, so that this is easier to take. Because if they shove all of these up, and you just go here sitting, now you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting, and you don't want to do that. Everyone's flanking from behind. You see, I'm thinking about the Evelynn here as well. She activates it, Elise kills the Renekton, everyone's still out of the picture, so what do? You just play forward. When you know the Evelynn is playing behind you, you play forward. This is it. Like, she's out of the picture now, you put the control word, it's beautiful. Super, super well done. I want to look at that again. So the Evelynn is flanking, we kind of anticipate this. Once she puts the charm up, you see, oh, she's behind, you pay attention to it. So we kill the Renekton, Kassante's going Giga Deep. Now, instead of turning, we just keep playing forward because we have numbers. End of story. Numbers, 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 and the Evelynn is trailing. You put down this control ward, boom, ruined. And that's how you play against Evelynn, and that's how you can play against Evelynn. If you don't have a Warwick or something like that as well. Rek'Sai, etc. So really, really well done by the red team and the Elise. 13-0-6, my friends. This is how you carry with the champion. Now, it, of course, was bottom lane, and the bottom lane played well. But it does not have to be bottom lane. You could always do the same thing. Blue side quadrant, drive by mid lane, dive the top lane if that's the lane you want to shadow. Do this and then dive it again. You know, you can do it on a side lane. You don't have to do it on bottom lane. It's not the bottom lane coin flip. It's the jungle coin flip. The jungle that makes it happen. May that be you. And if it isn't you, come to Virkayu.gg for coaching and courses, and I'll help you out. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I will see you all in the next one.